Hello, Teacher Katie. I am here to show you real quick, as fast as I can, how I prepare for my lessons using a notebook and Excel spreadsheets. I use this during class. It helps me to see what props I need, the lessons I'm teaching the student, and also my reward that I'm using for that child. So I start here, and then we move on to the spreadsheet. I keep track of all of my students, their feedback notes, everything. It's really easy to find. Let's see. Let's take a look. Okay, let's get started. First, I write down the date. Then, on the left-hand side of my notebook, I write down the times I am teaching for that one day. I teach 5 times at 5:36, 6:37, and 7:30. I then go ahead and write the names of my students for the day and the lesson numbers. I do not write the letters because I don't like the letters, let's be honest. It's easier for me to see the lesson really quick if it's just numbers, and I also use it in searching on a spreadsheet. I go ahead and write for the whole week that I'm teaching, whether it be 3 days, 5 days, I go ahead and do it for the whole week. I mainly teach regulars, and so it doesn't change. Only 1 or 2 will change, but that's okay. So here is my week and my lessons. I then transfer the data from my notebook to my March 2019 spreadsheet. I go to week 4, the dates are already in, the US times, the Beijing time. I go to the first time I'm teaching, that first day of the week. Now this week I am only teaching 3 days a week for a little while until I can get some things taken care of with my family. And that's what's so great about this job, is I'm free to do that. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll go back to 5 to 6 days a week, but for now we're just doing 3 days a week. So I go ahead and type in the names and the type of lesson. There are many functions to the spreadsheet that I will go over at another time. What the colors mean, the tabs at the bottom. Down at the bottom are the tabs regulars. Push Control F, type in your first student, who is Sharon. It'll take you to Sharon's workbook. Scroll to the end, and as you can see, I have all of Sharon's information. I go ahead and type in the date that I will be teaching. I copy and paste the previous lesson's information to a new cell. The top is what Sharon needs to be working on, her homework that I assigned in the previous class. Now I have written that down in my notebook so that I know that we need to go over it in the next class. I go ahead and look at the reward because I have the reward I did that last lesson, the lesson before, so on and so forth. And I am able to tell what reward I can do for her, either something new, depending on the lesson, whatever. I tend to do the Apple Stars Bombs, ASB is what that stands for, every other lesson. And it is a game we play. It's basically apples versus stars, find a star version. And I have several different ones. And then I change the lesson. Now I go down to my feedback template or feedback spreadsheet. You can Control Find again and just type in the lesson number, copy the lesson or the feedback, and paste it right into the new cell. I put in name and replace name with Sharon. Now my feedback is pretty much done, and this is how I know what the lessons are going to be, is basically off of the feedback. I go back to my notebook. I'm working on Sharon's lessons. I've done all my previous. Back to the notebook for Sharon. Now for Sharon, I write the reward system I'm doing. The reason I have it written in a notebook and on the spreadsheet, the notebook is just my quick taking notes. I am able to now go through my files and find all the find a stars rather quickly. They're already written down. In parentheses next to the lesson is where I write the homework that we're going to review for that lesson. This is the homework I asked her to practice in the previous lesson. So I am going to ask her again in the next lesson about her homework and review it with them. The parents love that I am constantly reviewing and making sure that they aren't missing those concepts. Now, in this space, I write what props I need to grab from my bins, boxes, whatever, that are not right here on my desk. They are all still within hand's reach, arm's reach, whatever you want to call it. But those are my props. Now, in the space located under Sharon's name, I will write the vocabulary, the sentence patterns, the grammar, phonics, whatever might help me with that lesson. And I find it's really nice just to have those quick notes right there. And as I'm teaching, if she is really struggling, I can just circle, clap, or wave, or whatever. Now, as I write down turn, wave, clap, I realize, oh, I used doll and dino for that, and I'll take a quick note. I rarely look down at my notebook while I'm teaching, but as you can see, my crazy notes, I'm rarely looking down. I'm just circling, or I'm just jotting things down close to their name, not on the line. Perfect. Now let's go back and actually enter the feedback after we are all done teaching those wonderfully fun classes. I go to Control F, maybe, there it is, and type in Steven. I look at his homework, and guess what? It's the exact same. He is still needing to practice his N sound, and so I'm just going to leave that the same. As far as notes go, today he loved whistling. We practiced whistling the song. He just learned how to do it, so I put on he loves to whistle, or he's learning to whistle, and then that way I know that in the next lesson we can keep practicing that. I then go and copy and paste just the top part. The notes are just for me. And I will paste them in the feedback on the VIPKID portal. This is the teacher to teacher portion. Now, you can copy and paste that first line, what he's working on, from here, or you may go ahead and copy and paste it from your spreadsheet. So whatever they're working on from that lesson, I copy, and then I go down into the feedback close to the bottom, usually right before I say thank you for a great class, and paste what we are working on, so the parents know that that's what we are working on. Usually if the parents have left a 5-apple feedback, I will put that in my notes as 5 stars. And if they have put the 5 stars, I will thank them for it. So in the next feedback, I thank them for the wonderful feedback and the apples. Now, because Stephen didn't, I won't be putting that in for today. But Stephen's usually really good. Their parents are really good about leaving feedback. But because last time I didn't get feedback, I will put it at the bottom. If you enjoyed my lesson, please remember to leave 5 apples feedback, however you want to say it. So I just highlight or Control C and then paste. Now this is a pre-VIP feedback, so I normally put developing on content learning. Stephen is a wonderful student, behavior was great, computer skills are great, we completed the lesson, he's on level, and he does not need parental support in the lesson. And there you go, the feedback is done. Real quick, let me show you what I do when I have too much in my one workbook and I don't want to have to scroll all the way to the end. I copy the whole student's information and I go down to the previous tab, Control Find. Stephen hasn't had all of his lessons put in the previous tab before. I paste them all in the previous tab so they're all there. This is how I keep all my information. I go back and I just copy the first lesson to the second to last and delete it. And then my workbook, I can start right from the beginning. And I start putting in his information for the lessons. I don't have to go back to the previous tab very often, but it is there if I need it. So whenever I need to see any lessons with Stephen, how many lessons I taught, anything like that, it is there. Okay, I hope that helped give you some ideas on how to stay organized, how to track classes, and how to keep all the information if you're kind of like me and you want to be able to go back if you need to. I have gone back to my previous lessons quite often to count lessons, to review some of the things maybe where we started our first lesson. It's not something I reference a lot, but it's there if I need it. I like to keep my data for as long as I need, especially with those regulars that I have and I teach quite often. Anyway, as far as the files go, if you're my referral, you should already have these files. If you use my referral code, I give you the files. I love to help through the process if you want me to help you through the process. If you don't have the files, too bad. No, not really. I found these files online and then I've just kind of changed them. So if you need help creating them, let me know. I'll be more than willing to help you or send you the file. Let's be honest, I probably will. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Cool. What is it? Llama.
Llama.
What? It's my llama.
Llama.
It's my llama.
It's my llama.
Look, Sharon. Spit. Ew. Spit.
Spit.
The llama can spit. Spit. Good spit. Spit.
Spit.
Yes. No more. No spit. Ew. Ew. No spit. Good though. That was good.
Spit.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Yay.
Yep. I just got done teaching and my kids just woke up. Hello, Teacher Katie. How are you, Eloise? Who's your favorite Poppy? On your shirt. Okay, I'll try this again. That might hurt.